In 1970, Harvard researcher Roland Fisher ran a series of experiments. He gave graduate students controlled doses of psilocybin, then he tested their vision. Small doses improved visual acuity by 200%. Students could detect finer details, see contrasts better, track movement more accurately. Now think about what this means for early humans. Better vision means better hunting. Better hunting means more food. More food meant bigger brains. But McKenna's theory went deeper. He proposed 3 levels of mushroom consumption. Low doses enhanced vision and made people more alert, perfect for tracking prey across the savannah. Medium doses dissolved social boundaries that led to conflict. Groups became more cohesive. People shared more, bonded more. More bonding means more children. High doses of psychedelic mushrooms produced an entirely different and intense experience. The ego dissolved. New thought patterns emerged. Abstract thinking and understanding symbolism became innate, natural. Language became music, and music became language, and consciousness, whatever that is, expands. McKenna didn't think these were just side effects. He thought they were part of a bigger plan. And here's the thing about human brain evolution that bothered McKenna. 2 million years ago, our ancestors had brains around 900 cubic centimeters. Within 100,000 years, that jumped to 1,600 cubic centimeters, nearly double. That kind of growth usually takes millions of years, not thousands. Fire helped. Tools helped. Eating meat helped. But the timeline didn't match. These developments came after brain expansion, not before. McKenna had one simple explanation. Our ancestors followed herds of game across Africa. Those herds left dung everywhere. And growing in that dung were Psylicibin cubensis mushrooms, the same mushrooms Fisher studied at Harvard. Early humans were hungry. They ate everything they could find. They ate not just the animals they hunted, but the mushrooms left behind from the herd. The scientific establishment hated McKenna's theory. They called it the stoned ape hypothesis. The name was meant to mock it, but McKenna embraced it. He believed psilocybin didn't just change the mind, it helped form the human experience. Scientists thought McKenna was crazy, but 30 years later, they gave people psilocybin and scanned their brains. Terence McKenna wasn't crazy at all. He was dead right. McKenna was right about one thing. Psilocybin changes the brain, but not the way anyone expected. When neuroscientists finally put volunteers in MRI machines and gave them psilocybin, they thought brain activity would explode, more neural firing, more energy, more chaos. Instead, they saw the opposite. The brain got quieter. Specifically, one part went almost silent, the default mode network. The default mode network is your brain's control center. It's the voice in your head, the thing that says I when you think about yourself. It creates your ego, the boundary between you and everything else, your sense of self. On psilocybin, that shuts down. Not partially, not temporarily, the entire network goes offline. And when it does, something extraordinary happens. Brain regions that never talk to each other suddenly connect. The visual cortex starts communicating with areas that process emotion. Memory centers link up with parts that control body awareness. It's like every neighborhood in a city suddenly building roads to every other neighborhood. Robin Carhart Harris at Imperial College London discovered this in 2012. He called it neural anarchy. But it wasn't anarchy, it wasn't chaotic. It was reorganization. The connections formed during these psychedelic experiences don't just disappear when the drug wears off. Brain scans show new neural pathways remaining active for weeks, sometimes months. In some cases, the changes appear permanent. Johns Hopkins researchers found something even stranger. People who took psilocybin in controlled settings showed lasting personality changes. Not mood changes, personality changes. They became more open, more creative, more connected to others. This shouldn't be possible. Personality is supposed to be fixed by age 30, but psilocybin rewrote that rule. And here's what really puzzled scientists. Psilocin, what psilocybin becomes in your body, fits into human serotonin receptors perfectly. Not approximately, perfectly, like a key designed for a specific lock. We share about 50% of our DNA with mushrooms. We split from a common ancestor over 1 billion years ago, yet somehow these fungi produce a compound that seems tailor-made for the human brain. Paul Stamets, the world's leading mushroom expert, thinks this isn't a coincidence. He believes humans and mushrooms have been evolving together, what he calls co-evolution. Brain scans prove psilocybin creates new neural connections. They prove it dissolves old patterns. They prove it fundamentally changes how we think. But ancient civilizations didn't need MRI machines to know this. They'd been using mushrooms for thousands of years. They saw them as technology, sacred technology, a way to communicate with other realms, a way to speak with our ancestors. They saw mushrooms as a way to speak to God. For 2,000 years, it was Greece's most sacred secret, the Eleusinian Mysteries. Every September, thousands of Greeks made a pilgrimage to Eleusis. Peasants and emperors, philosophers and warriors, they all came for one thing: to drink the kykeon and see the truth. Plato went, Aristotle went, so did Sophocles. Cicero drank the kykeon, so did Commodus, Hadrian, and Marcus Aurelius. They never wrote about what they saw, not specifically, but they all said the same thing. The experience changed them forever. It revealed the secret of death and showed them their place in the cosmos. For centuries, nobody knew what was in the kykeon, or kykeon. Then in 1978, researchers cracked the code. The drink contained ergot, a fungus that grows on grain, specifically rye. Ergot contains lysergic acid amide, another psychedelic, natural LSD. The Greeks weren't alone. The Aztecs had a word for mushrooms, teonanacatl. It means flesh of the gods. They used Psylicibin mexicana in religious ceremonies. Spanish conquistadors witnessed these rituals in the 1500s, and what they saw terrified them. Indigenous people eating mushrooms and speaking directly to their gods. No priests, no intermediaries, just direct divine contact. The Spanish destroyed every mushroom temple they found, burned every codex that mentioned them, made mushroom use punishable by death. But they couldn't destroy everything. The Mazatec people of Oaxaca kept the mushroom ceremonies alive, hidden in mountain caves, passed down through generations of healers. For 400 years, they protected this knowledge. And this wasn't just the Americas. Vedic texts from ancient India describe soma, a divine plant that granted immortality and wisdom. Scholars debated what soma was for decades. Then R. Gordon Wasson made a connection. The descriptions matched Amanita muscaria, the red and white mushrooms that are in all the fairy tales. Siberian shamans used the same mushroom. They fed it to reindeer, then drank the reindeer's urine. The reindeer's body filtered out the toxins, but kept the psychoactive compounds. Shamans could fly across the sky and visit other worlds, all powered by reindeer pee. Even the Bible might contain mushroom references. Moses met God at a burning bush. The bush was probably acacia. Acacia contains DMT. When burned and inhaled, DMT produces visions that last about 15 minutes, exactly how long Moses spoke with God. The manna that fed the Israelites in the desert, it appeared overnight. It had to be collected before sunrise. It gave people visions. This is how mushrooms operate. John Marco Allegro was a Dead Sea Scrolls scholar. He proposed that early Christianity was a mushroom cult, that the Last Supper wasn't bread and wine, it was mushrooms. The body and blood of Christ were actually the cap and stem of Amanita muscaria. The Vatican destroyed Allegro's career for that theory. Every civilization throughout history knew the power of mushrooms, and every authority that rose to power tried to destroy that secret knowledge. They almost succeeded. But in 1957, Life magazine published an article that reached 6 million Americans. The headline read, "Seeking the Magic Mushroom." And now the secret was out. R. Gordon Wasson was a banker, vice president at JP Morgan. Not the kind of person you'd expect to resurrect ancient mushroom knowledge. But in 1955, Wasson and his wife Valentina traveled to Oaxaca, Mexico. They heard rumors about mushroom ceremonies, sacred rituals that survived the Spanish conquest. They found Maria Sabina. She was a Mazatec healer, a curandera. For generations, her family had protected the mushroom's traditions. She rarely allowed outsiders into the ceremonies, but something about the Wassons made her break that rule. On June 29, 1955, Wasson became the first known white person to participate in a mushroom ceremony. Maria Sabina served them Psylicibin mexicana on a leaf. She chanted in Mazatec. The room was filled with incense. Then the visions began. Wasson saw geometric patterns, palaces made of light. He felt his soul leave his body. He understood for the first time what the word ecstasy actually meant. Not happiness, but standing outside yourself, seeing reality from a perspective that normal consciousness just doesn't allow. The experience lasted 6 hours, but it changed Wasson forever. 2 years later, Life magazine published his account, Seeking the Magic Mushroom. It hit newsstands on May 13, 1957. 6 million Americans read about mushrooms that could expand consciousness, show them God, reveal secrets about life, the universe, and their place in it. The psychedelic revolution had begun. Timothy Leary read that article. So did Richard Alpert. They started the Harvard Psylicibin Project in 1960. They gave mushrooms to graduate students, prisoners, divinity students. Everyone reported profound experiences, life-changing revelations. Then came the Good Friday experiment. On April 20th, 1962, 20 divinity students gathered in Boston University's Marsh Chapel. Half received psilocybin, half got placebos. The results were undeniable. 9 of 10 students who took psilocybin reported mystical experiences. They felt unity with all existence, direct contact with the divine. Time dissolved. The boundaries between self and universe disappeared. 25 years later, researchers tracked down those students. They still ranked that Good Friday as one of the most spiritually significant experiences of their lives. But the establishment panicked. By 1968, psilocybin was illegal. Research stopped. The mushroom renaissance seemed over. It wasn't. Underground therapists kept using psilocybin. They treated depression, addiction, PTSD. They just couldn't publish their results. Then in 2006, Johns Hopkins published the first legal psilocybin study in 40 years. The results shocked the medical establishment. A single dose of psilocybin created lasting positive personality changes. People became more open, more creative, more connected. By 2018, the FDA designated psilocybin as a breakthrough therapy for depression. Studies showed 70% remission rates. Compare that to 30% for standard antidepressants, which come with all kinds of side effects. Terminal cancer patients lost their fear of death after one session. Addiction rates plummeted. PTSD symptoms vanished. The mushrooms that transformed consciousness 100,000 years ago were transforming it again. The stoned ape theory captivated millions of people. It offered a simple answer to humanity's biggest mystery. Magic mushrooms made us human. But there's a problem, a big one. Evolution doesn't work that way. Here's what we know is true. Psilocybin mushrooms enhance vision. Roland Fisher proved that at Harvard. They increase social bonding. They dissolve ego boundaries. They create new neural pathways. Modern brain scans confirm all of this. We also know early humans encountered these mushrooms. Psilocybin cubensis grows in cattle dung all across Africa. Our ancestors followed those herds. They were hungry. They would have eaten these mushrooms. McKenna got all that right. But here's where the theory gets shaky. Any changes psilocybin caused in an individual's brain couldn't be passed to their children. That's Lamarckian evolution. It was disproven 100 years ago. If you take steroids and build huge muscles, your kids aren't born muscular. If you learn French, your children don't speak it automatically. And if mushrooms expand your consciousness, that expansion doesn't transfer to your offspring. Genetics doesn't work that way. It never has. There's another problem. McKenna claimed Fisher's research supported this evolutionary theory, but Fisher never said that. He studied perception, not evolution. McKenna took the data and ran with it in a direction Fisher never intended. And then there's the evidence that should exist, but doesn't. If psychedelics drove human evolution, we'd see the most advanced cognition in cultures that use them extensively. The Aztecs used mushrooms for centuries. So did Amazonian tribes. The Mazatec people never stopped using them. These cultures created art, mythology, and complex spiritual systems. But they didn't develop advanced technology or scientific thinking faster than cultures without psychedelics. So McKenna was wrong, but he might have been wrong in an interesting way. Some researchers propose a different model, not genetic evolution, but cultural evolution. Mushrooms didn't change our DNA, they changed our software, not our hardware. And think about it. Every culture that used psychedelics developed music, art, and religion. They created rituals and mythologies. They built complex social structures around shared experiences. Maybe that's what mushrooms gave us. Not bigger brains, bigger hearts, bigger ideas. The new stoned ape theory focuses on consciousness as an emergent property. Psychedelics didn't evolve the brain. They revealed what the brain could already do, like finding a hidden feature in software you've used for years. This fits better with the evidence. It explains why mushrooms create long-lasting personality changes, why they increase creativity and openness, and why every culture that found them considered them sacred. Paul Stamets takes it further. He says we're still co-evolving with mushrooms, not genetically but culturally. As we rediscover psychedelics, they're reshaping society again. Mental health treatment, creativity enhancement, spiritual exploration. The mushroom renaissance isn't just about medicine, it's about consciousness itself. McKenna asked the wrong question. It wasn't, how did mushrooms create human consciousness? The real question is, what is consciousness, and why do mushrooms affect it so profoundly? We don't know. After decades of research, consciousness remains the hard problem. We can map every neuron, scan every synapse, and still not understand how flesh becomes thought. But we know this. Something in mushrooms speaks directly to something in us. After a billion years of separate evolution, that connection to consciousness remains. Consciousness, if you think about it, is lonely. We're the only species that knows it even exists, that knows it will end. Maybe that's why every culture that found mushrooms called them sacred. Not because they made us human, but because they made us feel less alone, connected to something else, connected to something bigger, connected to everyone. The stoned ape theory may be wrong, but it made us think differently. It made us reevaluate consciousness and how it arises, how it emerges. It made us think about our connections to each other and about connections to a greater universe, a universe full of energy and thought and kindness and love. So right or wrong, the stoned ape theory is important. And believe it or not, it changed everything.